Hi everyone, my name is Lily. I'm a self-published author and full-time product manager. In this video, I'm sharing with you the exact roadmap I followed to write my book, Who Told You to Settle? How to Make Extraordinary Your Default. The operating system I developed to write my non-fiction book was the enabler for having a full manuscript ready to go into book editing, book production, and ultimately self-publishing within 1 year. In this video, however, we are focusing solely on the first part of creating a book, which is the writing. To make it easier for you guys, I have created a PDF of this roadmap. You can download it by clicking on the link in the description, print it out, follow this video while filling out the roadmap so that you know exactly what you've got to do tomorrow to start writing your book. So let's get into this video. So the author operating system is divided into parts. We have the first part, which is the author mode. This is basically the preconditions you need to write your book. The second part is the author method. The exact steps you've got to go through to write a book from A to Z. The preconditions are 4. Let's have a look at what is the first one, which is self-commitment. Self-commitment is about not waiting for permission to write your book. You're committing to yourself. If you want to write a book to change people's lives, it's because you want to do it. You don't have to wait for perfect conditions and you don't have to wait for approval from anybody else to start writing this book. So first thing that you need to do is to really get everything out of the way and just start doing it. The moment I decided that I was writing this book, Who Told You to Settle? How to Make Extraordinary Your Default, was the moment that I actually started really believing in this mission, and nothing could have stopped me to finish writing this book. Second is focus. To write a book, you do need to have focus sessions, because otherwise it's almost impossible. What I need by focus session is not only deep work, so you have no distractions while you're working, but it's something bigger. It's time you dedicate in an undisturbed way to your book. It means that you need to block specific time slots in your calendar that are non-tradable and that you will only use to write on your book. What I did, for example, was when I knew I needed to start writing my book, I quit my job, took 1 month to write 9 to 5. This allowed me to only focus on my book, not do anything else, and pour all my ideas into blank pages. Once I started again working at full time, I had to block my weekends to keep on writing my book, which meant my Saturdays, my Sundays were only for my book. If you are in a full-time job, I really recommend you to define the days in the week where you are working solely on your book. It can be a 4-hour slot after working, it can be your weekends, it can even be a vacation you're taking just to write a book. Whatever it is, it needs to work for you and you need to make sure that you're not trading it for anything else. The third factor is accountability. This one is about telling one person that you are writing your book so that you make yourself accountable for delivering this book. The moment you start making it public, you cannot stop writing this book. I really recommend to not skip this. I mean, sometimes it's really difficult to tell about a new idea because you fear what people's reaction are gonna be. But the moment you do it, you start believing even strongly in what you're doing. My book, Who Told You to Settle, is a life operating system for ambitious misfits, 25 life principles coming all from my own experience. The moment I started telling people about it, some of them were like, you're 25 and you're telling me how to live my life? Yeah, exactly, I am, because I'm strongly believing that this will gonna change people's life in their 20s. So this is why I'm doing it. And the moment I started telling people about it, some of them believed in it, some of them did not believe in it. It was not the point to get them all believing in what I was doing. The point of it was just putting it out in the world and making me accountable to actually deliver on my mission. Step number 4 is a timeline. you've got to define milestones. The moment you define milestones, which can be every month I achieve a specific progress on my book, it gives you another kind of accountability, which goes back to self-commitment. You're doing it for yourself to deliver the mission. You are going back to the focus sessions you're doing, because only in here the writing can happen, the accountability to bring it out on the people can happen, and most importantly, you can deliver on time. So set milestones, set deadlines that you cannot miss and deliver on it. So this was the author mode, the state of mind you need to be in to start writing a book and actually finish doing it. Because oftentimes authors start writing a book, but they do not end up with a full draft manuscript. Why? Because they don't have guiding principles to actually make it happen. Self-commitment, focus, accountability, and timeline will turn your first pages into a full manuscript ready to get into editing. We are moving on now to the second part of the roadmap, which is actually writing the book. The author method entails 5 sequential steps. Step number 1 is define your trigger. Step number 2 is let it out. Step number 3 is mind your past. Step number 4 is put it into an outline. And step number 5 is write in sprints. Let's have a look at every single step and what you can do. Trigger. Define your trigger. Your trigger is basically what actually seed the idea of writing a book in your brain. It's the moment you realize you have figured out something in your life that you need to share with people. It oftentimes comes from personal experiences, a crisis, a moment in your life that is enlightening for you. For me, the trigger of my book, Who Told You to Settle, was complete misalignment with who I actually was, an ambitious misfit, somebody that was not settling for average and not wanting to fit in the system that are given by society, and actually doing this for almost 1 year. I knew that my core life philosophy was different than how I was actually showing up in life, and I knew I needed to go back to my life principles. And the best way to do it was to actually start writing a book about it, because I knew that I'm not the only one out there being misaligned, wanting something else, not wanting to settle for average, but actually somehow ended up doing it. This step is extremely important, because oftentimes when you have defined your trigger, you start overthinking it. You start already going into the solution, the framework. You start to define a structure, the chapters and everything, but this is too early. The first thing you need to do is to give space to your thoughts. The moment you have realized I need to write, it's the moment where your greatest thoughts and ideas are growing in your head. It's about just writing. It's a kind of journaling without structure, without anything. It's raw material. It does not need to be perfect. It's just thoughts. For me, it was a night after work, feeling inside of me this need to start writing a book, not yet knowing how the framework would end up. I just grabbed my computer, I opened a blank document, and I started writing for hours. All my thoughts about being an ambitious misfit. What does it mean? What does it even mean being ambitious and misfit at the same time? What does it mean to not settle for average? I know those are all terms that might not be very familiar with you because you have not read my book yet. If you do want to do it, the link is in the description, but I'm just giving you the insight from my own journey. And this was exactly what happened with me. I had a ton of ideas, I had a ton of thoughts, I had a ton of truth that I needed to admit to myself. And the moment I started doing it, by just putting raw material and don't wanting to perform in that precise moment, but just being honest with myself, was when the core of my book was actually starting appearing on paper. Step number 3 is mind your past. This is the research work you're gonna do. Nonfiction is oftentimes a collection of lessons you have figured out because you had to go through specific chapters in your life. You need to understand where all of that came from. For me, it was going back to my diaries. I used to journal a lot. I used to write down life principles that I had to figure out the hard way to be able to live as an ambitious misfit in a life that per default chose to be average. I revisited all those pages and I started seeing patterns. So what you are looking for here are patterns. Patterns of your life choices, patterns of your actions, and for lessons, and for truths. Whatever it is, it's something that is showing you this is something that you have learned for yourself and you want to share it with your readers. But before you are able to put it into a manuscript that does make sense from the beginning to the end, you need to understand first the source of your thoughts to then turn it into a framework and call to actions for your readers. Step number 4 is build the outline of your book. Here I have 4 sections that you need to definitely put into your book so that it does have a structure that converts readers into engaged readers and people who actually go through a transformation thanks to your frameworks. The first one is the intro. In here, you first of all define your avatar. The avatar is the perfect reader you are writing for. Second is the promises. What's the transformation gonna look like? Who will they be after they have read your book? So you define who you're writing for and why they should read this book. The second section of your book is the problem. In here, you specify why you are writing this book and why is it relevant for your readers. It's basically about, first of all, being a little bit vulnerable. You're writing this book because there is a reason, right? The trigger you've defined before. And telling honestly your readers why you've ended up writing this book is creating this mechanism of being relatable to you. This is the moment where you can create credibility. Why should people believe in what you are writing? It's because you went through this before them and now you know the tools to make their life easier. So you need to establish credibility. Tell your story. In my book, Who Told You to Settle, I started by telling my readers about my childhood, how I grew up, how I developed into being an ambitious misfit, and how I ended up in a huge paradox that costed me my happiness. So, establish credibility and define the pain point of your readers. You need to clearly state what is the issue, the struggle, the pain you are solving with your book. The moment you have established credibility for solving this pain point, readers are locked in and will keep on reading your book and want to know what the solution you will deliver them is. So let's have a look at how to write the solution. which is the third part of building the outline. This solution is basically the framework. It can be a formula, it can be a list of principles, a checklist, call to actions. Let's make it easy and call it framework. The framework. In my book, Who Told You to Settle, I deliver a formula, the free orbit velocity, that will enable my readers to create their own fulfilling life beyond the boundaries of average while not needing to actually isolate themselves. And in the end, it's about 20 life principles with specific call to actions for them to start doing tomorrow. And you want them to walk away from your book with this integrated in their life. So make it as precise as possible. Choose a format that works for your avatar. Choose something that makes it possible to them to start changing and improving tomorrow. And then there is the last part, the outro. You might think the outro is just somehow summarizing what happened in here and saying goodbye to your readers. No, this is actually one of the most important parts of your book, because you've given them a reason why they should read your book and integrate your tool into their lives. But that's not something that is closing in here. Here, it's the start of something bigger. So if you don't want to just write a book, but if you want to sell trainings, if you want to create a community, you need to nail the outro. So what can you do here is a look back. The reader needs to be convinced about their transformation. Plus, you need to make an invitation. You need to make an invitation for them to keep on following you, to keep on consuming your content. It's optional actually, but it can be the strongest piece of your entire book. All right, and then there is the step number 5, which is draft in sprints. So you remember, you have dedicated time slots in your calendar. You have some deadlines. Now you actually need to make happen all the other steps, all the things that you've defined. The outline that you have built, you need to fill it in with content. So you actually need to start writing right now. How are you gonna do that? You need to follow a structure here as well, that is gonna make it super easy for the reader to understand why what you are writing is important to them and how can they actually start applying it to their lives today. I recommend to write your chapters following the Golden Circle by Simon Sinek. The Golden Circle has the why at the very center. It has the how, and then it has the what, the art around the why. What does that mean for a book's chapter? It means that you start by telling your reader why what they are reading is important for them. Then you showcase it through examples with the how. How are you actually changing your life by applying the one thing that is super important for them so that they can improve themselves? And then you finish your chapter with a what. This is a clear call to action. What can they actually do to change their life, the how, to implement the how themselves, and achieve what is so important. The way I did it for my book, Who Told You to Settle, was to start with the why as a story. A personal story. Something that happened in my life that showed me why this specific thing I am teaching the reader is fundamentally important. Then I dived into the how, which was still showcasing through the story how I was able to have a transformation. And once I had the why and the how, I had established credibility for what I am telling the reader to do. I was able to present to my readers the what, so the call to action. What they can do today to accomplish those two things. Iterate on the call to action so many times that it becomes so easy to do it today. It really needs to be a small step, something that does not require a ton of effort and that will deliver them a specific outcome. Because if you make your call to actions too difficult, people will actually not buy you what you have sold them in the chapter. So for my book, Who Told You to Settle, I iterated probably 5 times on my call to actions together with my beta readers, my editor. I asked them all, is it clear enough? Is it easy enough for the reader to do it today and start kicking off their transformation? The answer was no. So many times it was still too complex. So spend a ton of time on your call to action if you want to make it land. All right, good job, guys. You went through all the steps of the roadmap that enabled me to write my book, Who Told You to Settle. Once you followed all these steps, hence, first of all, created the preconditions to actually write a book, you can start writing your book following the author method. Trust this process and you're gonna end up within 3 months with a full manuscript ready to go into editing. All the other steps that follow the writing, hence editing, book production, formatting, creating the cover, deciding on which platform to self-publish and everything, is a whole different journey. If you want to hear more about that, tell me in the comments and I'm gonna make a video and show you how I am going through those steps. But what you need right now is to only download the roadmap that is gonna change your author journey. So use the link in the description, download it, watch this video again, fill the roadmap in, and let me know in the comments if this helped you in boosting your writing. And before I let you go, make sure to subscribe to this channel. See you in the next video.